on here, guys. Welcome everybody to the Mount Pleasant Doing Business with the Town of Mount Pleasant virtual luncheon sponsored by the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce and the Town of Mount Pleasant. To kick things off, I am going to introduce Shane Griffin, President of the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. Shane?
Good afternoon, Lauren. Thank you very much for the introduction, and thanks to the Town of Mount Pleasant for a wonderful partnership. We at the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce are grateful for the partnership and the friendship with the Town of Mount Pleasant. If you'd like to learn more about the Chamber, you can visit our website, mountpleasantchamber.org, mountpleasantchamber.org. We also have a pretty good resource there regarding COVID-19. It's not only about the virus itself, but it's also helpful information when it comes to the immediate area, the region, the state, and even the world. So feel free to check that out. It's mountpleasantchamber.org. You'll see the Coronavirus Resource Center page there at the top of the website, and you'll be directed to that page. There is also a link to our YouTube channel. A number of webinars are there for you to view at your leisure as well. So again, we thank the Town of Mount Pleasant for a great partnership. We're looking forward to some great content here today, and I'll throw it back to you, Lauren. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lauren Sims. I am the Community and Government Affairs Chief for the Town of Mount Pleasant. I'm very happy to be with you today, along with some of my colleagues who I will introduce in just a moment. There are a few of us who will be presenting to you today, so I want to introduce everyone on the call starting out, and then I will get to the presentation. So you'll see me toggle back and forth between speakers and presentation if you'll just bear with me. It's a product of working in the modern world today. So the first person that I would like to introduce is Marcy Kotov. Marcy is our CFO from the Town of Mount Pleasant, and she'll be speaking to you a little bit today about the town's budget and particularly the impact that COVID-19 has had on the town's budget and kind of the plan that we're operating under right now in order to mitigate those impacts.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody.
And next, I would like to introduce Melinda Turner. Melinda is our business license official for the Town of Mount Pleasant, so she will be talking to you about business licensing and everything that you need to do in order to acquire one, make sure that your license is up to date, answer any questions that you have surrounding that process.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us.
And last but not least, we have Kathy Frame. Kathy is our procurement officer for the Town of Mount Pleasant. So procurement in our world is purchasing goods and services. And so Kathy is going to talk to you about ways that you can be registered as a vendor for the Town of Mount Pleasant, how to register on our online vendor portal to receive our bid openings, and answer any questions that you have about doing business with the town.
Good afternoon.
All right, so I'm going to jump back here into our presentation, if you will bear with me for just a moment. So here is our agenda for the meeting. We will start by reviewing doing business in the town. Again, going over business licensing, local business support programs. Then we'll talk a little bit about doing business with the town, becoming a town vendor, and our local vendor partnership program. And then we'll finish up the program today by talking about the fiscal year 2021 town budget, and in particular, the impact of COVID-19 on the annual budget. So to kick things off, I am going to pass it over to Melinda.
I'm going to talk a little today about doing business in the Town of Mount Pleasant, and Lauren's going to help me with the slides. First of all, what is a business license? And according to the Municipal Association of South Carolina, they define a business license fee as an excise tax for the privilege of doing business. Basically, it's a method of requiring businesses to contribute their share in support of the local government. Business licenses are annually renewable, and the tax calculations are based on business activity, gross income, and business location. Next slide, please. All businesses in the town, all entities need to register unless they are exempted by state or federal law. And this can all be done electronically on our website. And the web address is provided here. It's http://www.tompsc.com/forms, FORMS.ASPX FID =260. If you'll enter your information there, we will process it and get back to you with any questions and provide you the information as far as what else may be necessary, home-based business guidelines, or provide the amount that's due. At that point, you can come to Town Hall if you choose. You can mail it in, or you can make your payment electronically. Next slide, please. Considerations for existing businesses. Our normal due date for business license taxes is July the 31st. This year, Town Council extended it to August the 31st. And I want to go ahead and make note of our state elected body recently changed state law, and we are going to now be operating under a Business License Standardization Act, which will commence in January of 2022. So we will have a lot more information forthcoming to you about those changes. Currently, the penalty schedule is 5% a month. And right now, if you're late remitting your business license, the penalty is 10%. Again, these licenses can be paid online, and here is our website. Because it's real simple here. You just need your account number. If you don't have your account number, give us a call and we'll give it to you. We sent out renewal packages in June, but if anybody hadn't gotten theirs, please give us a call and we'll help you walk through the process online. Next slide, please. For brand new businesses, a couple things to think of as you're getting started is you want to be sure that all town ordinances are followed. So you're going to want to reach out to our planning and zoning areas of the town and contact them about possible locations and where your type of business could operate. Then you're going to want to complete the registration process online. And then also you're going to want to register for the appropriate accounts with the state or with the county with regard to sales tax, hospitality taxes, and accommodations taxes. With regard to hospitality taxes, Charleston County is our collection agent, and when you set up your business license with us, we will forward your information to Charleston County to set up that to set up that hospitality account for you. But as you're going through this, if you provide overnight accommodations or if you sell prepared meals, food, or beverages, there's some other accounts you need to register for, and we can help you get in touch with the right parties on that. And the last bit of information I want to provide is the key contact information. The Business License Division phone number is 843-849-2786. And our web address is provided here. And the Town of Mount Pleasant Planning Department is 843-884-1229. And Charleston County Revenue Collections Office is 843-202-6080. And then the Department of Revenue, the best way to look at those resources is on their website, www.dor.sc.gov. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to Lauren.
Thank you, Melinda. So we receive questions from time to time about town support programs, and so I'll briefly go through just a couple. The first is for any new business or expansion of an existing business, we are happy to come on site and host a ribbon cutting ceremony for your business. This is a photo of our most recent one, the Hair Lab that opened here in Mount Pleasant off of Ben Sawyer Boulevard. You can tell from the mask, this is a COVID era ribbon cutting. But there are some kind of logistics behind it. It's for brick and mortar businesses located in the town only. We know that there are lots of home-based businesses and things of that nature, but this is for true brick and mortar businesses in the town. And you have to be an actual annexed property in the town of Mount Pleasant. So the town has several what we call donut holes, unincorporated Charleston County properties. Most notably, one's kind of at the corner of Highway 17 and Highway 41. Various areas around town that they're in the geographic area of the town of Mount Pleasant, but they aren't technically part of the town. So I do want to clarify that because we do get questions from businesses located in those areas from time to time, and unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to host a ribbon cutting for you as you're not part of the town of Mount Pleasant technically. But if you would like to be, we'd be happy to connect you with the folks in our planning department for annexation applications. The ceremony is held with our elected officials and Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce board members. And we as a staff will be on site and we take photos and work with the staff to produce a press release, which we post on the town's website and share out on social media to announce your business's opening here in the town of Mount Pleasant. The next is our Town Proud program, and this is our certified local business program. So the criteria for this program is that your business is privately held and not publicly traded. You have to be located in the town of Mount Pleasant and not have a corporate or national headquarters outside of the state. The business owners have a controlling interest of more than 50% and live in the Low Country. And the businesses can make independent decisions regarding the name and look of the business, business purchasing, practices and distributions, and pays all their own marketing, rent, and other business expenses. We do partner with Low Country Local First. It's a nonprofit, and they work as our certifying agency for the criteria of this program. So it's a very simple online application. You fill it out, it goes straight to Low Country Local First. They will make sure that you meet all of the eligibility criteria. And once they confirm that information, then they will let us know and we will check with the business license office, Melinda and her staff, to make sure that you have a current business license with the town. And once that is completed, then we will reach out and officially welcome you to the Town Proud program. And so some of the benefits of this program are that you'll be listed in the town's online certified local business directory. Particularly in this day and age, the local support for our local economy and local businesses is very high. And so folks are often reaching out to us to find out what are the best local resources, who provides whatever product or service they're looking for locally, and we're always happy to refer them to this directory. Your business will also receive a printed decal and digital graphics for use on your physical storefront, your website, and all digital communications. And you'll also gain access to the occasional Mount Pleasant local business relationship building events. So we've had to put a temporary halt on these due to COVID, but we will be kicking them back off in 2021. Our favorite event is always the annual Celebration Oyster Roast that we partner with the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce on. But they are networking events, and then we try to throw an educational component in as well for something that's relevant to businesses in our local area, bringing in professionals for a quick 30-minute educational session followed by a networking event. So if you're interested in signing up for either a ribbon cutting or to join the Town Proud program, the contacts and information are available on our website, or I'd be happy to follow up with you after the meeting. So just drop your name and contact information in the chat box. I'll be happy to follow up with you. So with that, I am actually going to turn it over to Kathy Frame in procurement to talk about doing business with the town of Mount Pleasant.
Thanks, Lauren. Next slide, please. The easiest way to become a vendor in the town is to register at our procurement portal. We've partnered with Bonfire Interactive to create this portal, and it actually allows vendors to receive notifications of business opportunities. It also is a place where you can submit your bid electronically. The procurement portal can be found in two different ways. You can go to the town website and select departments and administrative services and choose procurement and easily log in that way, register and log in, or you can type in the address that's listed on the slide and log in that way, register to become a vendor. It's really quite easy. If you have any difficulties with it, Bonfire is there to assist. They actually are our help desk as well. So it's been working well for us, and I think you'll find it very easy to use. Next slide, please. In terms of bidding on projects, any project that's over $25,000, we advertise it on the South Carolina Business Opportunities website, and it can be found at that website, theskibo.sc.gov. And then we also advertise them on Bonfire. Being advertised on Bonfire means that you receive notification that we have posted a new opportunity. And this is what I mentioned just a moment ago. Bonfire does it all for us, so you will be able to submit your proposal or bid electronically for procurements over $25,000, and we will actually do the bid opening and everything else electronically as well. It makes the process very smooth and has worked exceptionally well, especially given the COVID times we're in. Next slide, please. The town also gets a number of federal grants, and when we have those grants, we have to comply with every federal requirement. And federal requirements make sure that we ensure access and competition opportunities for disadvantaged and women-owned businesses. And so to do that, we utilize the South Carolina Division of Small and Minority Business Contracting and Certifications Directory to find small businesses, small women-owned, small disadvantaged businesses that are within the state and offer the opportunity up to them. If they are already registered on Bonfire, they'll get notice as well. We also make this requirement that our prime contractors also use it. So if our prime contractor has a subcontracting opportunity, then they are required to offer up opportunities to small disadvantaged businesses and small women-owned businesses. In certain cases, like if we're doing something with the South Carolina Department of Transportation, there'll be a specific percentage that's required to be set aside for disadvantaged women-owned businesses. Next slide, please. One of our big programs is our local vendor partnership program. And on the slide, you see a picture of the application. That application can be found on the town website. It's a fillable form, very easy to do, and it gets returned to me. The procurement code at 38.006 details the requirements for the local vendor partnership program, but kind of in a nutshell, essentially it's a preference program for local Mount Pleasant vendors. This program is open to businesses within the town limits who provide goods or non-professional services to the town. Professional services are not considered. Examples that we have for this program include construction services, renovation of facilities, general maintenance services, cleaning, security, fleet, landscape, printing, travel, recreation, you name it. General services. It does not include consulting firms or architects or engineers. To be eligible, though, there are certain criteria that have to be met. You have to have your principal place of business located within the corporate limits of the town, and you have to register officially with the Secretary of State, the IRS, or the State Tax Commission. The principal place of business must be either owned or rented real property. A mailbox at the Town of Mount Pleasant post office does not qualify as a business address. You also have to have a current town business license and then be in compliance with any other local ordinances. Once you are an approved vendor, when you submit a bid or proposal, it is then evaluated against the other bids or proposals received. The preference is calculated on a percentage-based reduction. So bids or proposals less than $10,000 receive a 5% reduction. Bids or proposals between $10,000 and $50,000 receive a 2% reduction. And any bid over $50,000, a 1% reduction. And while I'm saying a reduction, we're not actually changing the price of your bid. Just for evaluation purposes, it's decreased. So your bid may have technically been over a non-local business, but when we calculate that preference, that reduction, all of a sudden you are the low bidder. So to register to be a local vendor partner, complete the application and submit it to me. I think next slide, do I have? Nope, I don't have one. Anyway, it's kframe@tompsc.com. I did not add that on the slide. Sorry about that. But you can find it all on our webpage, and it's located right there. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Marcy.
All right. Well, thank you, Kathy. Lauren, if you would advance to the next slide. So as far as how the town is dealt with COVID and its budget, we happen to have presented the town's fiscal year 2021 budget a month earlier. We had council people say we'd like to deliberate a little longer, so we rushed. And the town administrator actually presented it at the end of February. Turned out to be a good thing. That way, the beginning of March, each of the committees, the transportation committee looked at the transportation budget and so forth. Each of those committees had time to really get into the budget before town hall shut down. So, 2 weeks later, town hall's closed. We have this budget out there. The town administrator gathered the budget committee back together again in May. So in May, what he did is he made a recommendation to the budget committee of some adjustments. And it was all predicated on this big goal that you see here, maintaining the continuity of services to the residents. That was a big thing. I mean, we're in the middle of the pandemic and businesses are shut down. Lauren, if you'd advance. So what he did is he developed a multi-level approach to how our budget would look. And he said, okay, we've presented a budget and this is what we need. However, within that budget, there are expenditures that we can delay or defer. July 1st, pay for performance for employees. We had a hiring freeze going on at the time. We didn't have layoffs. We were able to work around that. But what we did is we took monies proposed in the budget, pulled them out and put them in a reserve account within the budget. So the budget pretty much stayed level, except we were able to gather about $3 million worth of anticipated expenditures, delay and defer them, and put them in a reserve account. That's our reserve for the unknown. This is May, we're still not sure what's happening. What we also did is we looked at some of our special revenues we receive. Hospitality and accommodations tax, not only are they used for projects and not only are they used for tourism, but they also can be used to support public safety. So we have some of those funds coming into our operating budget to help with police and firemen. And what we didn't want to do is, not knowing what the impact would be, we didn't want to put a strain on our general fund that may not be there. And these revenues we knew were going to take a hit. So we went ahead and looked at some of the projects and we delayed them. We moved them out. We said, you know what? We're not going to do this right now because we need it. The funds that do come in may need to support our public safety, and we just needed that reserve. So the whole idea was to build these multi-level reserves and positioning of funds to be able to handle what we didn't know was going to happen. And we still, quite frankly, don't always know where it's going. So we also said, you know what, before we do another capital project using a funding source that could support operations and staff, we're going to also review each of those. So we're still doing business, we're keeping things going, but really some of the big new items we've got on hold besides what's in the reserve. We also are, and that kind of falls into the next one too, besides our capital, we're looking at operational new cost and deferring, delaying, reevaluating each piece of those. We also have decided, you know what, let's go and see what else is out there. Let's really push for grants and other governmental funding that we can find out there. And we have actually been successful in a couple ways. And the last piece is we have a fund balance, and our fund balance has a reserve in it, if you will. We have a policy that says, you know what, we're going to set aside in our fund balance, or our savings account, if you will, $2 million. That money will be for emergencies. So we'll earmark it for emergencies. Then we're going to set aside 25% of our operating expenditures so that we know we always can continue to go for another quarter of the year. Then we have an unrestricted reserve. So worst case, to keep things and to keep that goal going, we would be able to go into our, if you will, our savings account. So we positioned ourselves. Now, we still have our hiring freeze. We're still doing mechanisms to make sure that we can keep the service going. Positions are not frozen that are critical to services to our residents. At the end of the day, the town administrator presented this to the budget committee. They recommended it to full town council and our budget was adopted. So our budget began July 1, 2020. Our budget consists of different funds, but our operational fund is 93 million and it had a capital fund of 31 million. So we tried to position ourselves as best we could, doing all these pieces so that the core function that we need for our residents and businesses continued. And I think that's my only slide.
Thank you so much, Marcy and Kathy and Melinda, for that information. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this presentation and get back to this main screen here. If you have questions, I apologize, I neglected to mention this at the beginning, but if you have questions, there is a chat function on your screen here. I'm going to send a quick message to everybody just to show you where it is. If you have a question, feel free to go ahead and type in your question there. It'll be available for all of us to see. And then Kathy, Melinda, Marcy, or myself will take the question and be happy to answer it for you. I am also going to go ahead and put our email addresses in this chat box. So if you would like to get in touch with us, presentation, we're happy to help you out or answer any questions that you have. I will give you just a few minutes to type in any questions that you may have. And if there are none, then we will go ahead and close out. Melinda, I've received this question just a couple of times, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it of you. Typically, the business license renewal date is at the end of June or July, I believe, and this year Town Council, in order to assist businesses dealing with COVID, pushed it out to the end of August. Aside from any council action, otherwise next year, we would assume that the date would go back to June or July. Is that correct?
We will be reviewing the state legislative changes to determine more how we're going to phase in the new requirements. So the licenses will expire June the 30th, but the due date has not been established yet.
Gotcha. Okay, that's very helpful. I haven't had any questions come through the chat here. I don't know, Shane or any of the presenters, are there any other frequently asked questions that you received that you'd like for us to answer? Alrighty, well, seeing no questions, then I will go ahead and close this out. We will have the slides and the recording of the presentation available to you all. This afternoon, I'll be able to download it and send it out to everyone. So if you'd like to go back and click through the information, click on some of the links that are provided in the presentation, then that'll be available for you. I thank you all very much for spending some time with us today and receiving this information, and thank you to the Chamber for reaching out and making this a reality for us. I'm always happy to interact with our local businesses. So with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.